working in this auto body shop.
Yep.
When did you decide to make the next transition?
So,
and how old were you at the time?
God, I guess I was 2013 is when I got into the union. I started talking to some people, another Bricktown friend, my buddy James Graham. He was like going to get me in through this other guy. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, that sounds awesome. I wanted to be in shipbuilding. I thought ships were cool. I just liked it. So I was like, oh, this will be pretty neat. Found Boilermaker, and I'm like, oh, this is even better. Then I found an in. All right, cool. So I go home and tell my father, I'm gonna go in the Boilermakers union. This guy's gonna get me in. He goes, why don't you call your uncle? I'm like, Uncle Barry's a Boilermaker? He goes, yeah, a good one. I'm like, oh shit, call him. He goes, I don't ask for favors. Like, here we go again. You know what I mean?
Well, he's teaching you a lesson.
I'm like, all right. So I pull out the phone book. I'm like, then I'll call little Millie now, my aunt. And then he's like, I'll fucking call her tomorrow, all right? He doesn't want to put that out there and ask anybody. So my uncle, finally, we get in touch. We have a conversation. He gets me right in. Like 6 months later, I'm in the union. I had no idea who he was or what positions he held, but he was the general foreman in the oil refinery. He brought a lot of work into the hall. Hard-nosed guy, tough guy, super, super skilled. And in that time, I told him, I was like, I'll be the apprentice of the year in this place. I'm going to be the best apprentice out of my class. And I held to it, got that, competed, almost went to nationals, 1 point off. So I was just super into it. It was fun, hard work, hard work, but awesome. I mean, the group of guys that you're around, everything was awesome. And then it was just, as you work your way up the food chain in that, a guy gets fired, let go, whatever, and it gets dumped into my lap. Now you're the guy. I'm like,
yeah. I'm gonna speed up the story for you a little bit. So you get a foreman role. You've been there how many years until you left this year?
Well, no, I get general foreman position.
So I'm just saying, but you have the general foreman position. How long were you with the Boilermakers union?
10 years, about 9.5.
10 years.
Which I'm still a Boilermaker.
Rose all the way to the top. Had a team. You had companies. The oil refinery obviously did not want you to go.
Contractor.
Everybody was very surprised of you leaving. Your guys were motivated.
Oh, the guys in that
sad
place
to see you
awesome.
go.
They're awesome.
And again, that door's not closed. Doesn't mean you won't go back to it. But you set out to do something for your family, and your daughter had some health issues. Your wife's down there fighting off 2 kids. And for everybody that doesn't know, Pat was commuting 2 hours each way.
Hour and a half. Yeah.
And he's down in South Jersey going up to Linden.
Yeah.
That's a hike.
Sucked.
For those of you that watch.
3 hours in traffic in the summer coming home, 3-4 hours when it snowed. It sucked.
And long days, hard days.
12-hour days. You're out of the house 15, 20 hours, 15 hours a day.
So what was going through your mind when you said, I'm going to reach out to Ryan. I need to make a change.
I always worked on the side. I had to hustle side work. And I look back, my entire life, I did side work. My father did side work his entire life. Like, it's just how you just provided for your family the best life you can. You just have to make more, right? And I just hit that point. Well, going back, my wife broke her foot after a Disney trip in Georgia. I did what any good husband would do and told her, it's not broken, come on, let's go, we'll get home. And it was broken. She was non-weight bearing for 6 to 8 weeks. I couldn't work. Unemployment's all fucked up. And I just watched I got a 1-year-old daughter at home, a 1 in kindergarten. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm watching no employment coming in. I'm watching the bank account just like, oh, fuck. I have $500. The way I'm doing my math, I'm like, dude, in like 3 weeks, I'm gonna have $500 fucking left across all my accounts. I was fucked. So, Matt Farrell, Bricktown guy, I said, hey, he's a big fisherman. I said, hey, he came to like Saving Grace. Hey, anybody needs upholstery work, let him know. I just looked at my arsenal. I'm like, you got a ton of talent. What can I do when my daughter sleeps? The baby still takes naps. What can I do in between? It was upholstery. Came on strong because I could do it while she sleeps. I could be down there. Because if I'm out in the garage welding shit for people, I'm dirty. I can't go pick up a baby.
And that was at the same time around when you reached out to me.
Yep. It was like kind of soon after. All of a sudden, unemployment righted the ship. My buddy Matt Farrell came through with a bunch of jobs for me. I got everything. Okay, cool. I'm like, okay, whew, I made it through that one. That was crazy. And then you made that post and pulled at the heartstrings, and I was like, fuck, he's fucking right. And instead of throttling off, because everything's good, I could just go back to the refinery, everything's back on top. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I want more. And whatever. Started from there.